The weather is brought to you in part by the Water and Sewerage Authority. Water, use what you need.
Very little moisture is around Trinidad and Tobago at this time. We have a thick Saharan dust across the southern Windward Islands and extending up to the Leeward Islands as well. This thick dusty haze is obviously causing issues for those with asthma as well as pollen allergies. And that's because the Saharan dust being blown from Africa contains pollen, fungi, bacteria and pollutants. It does have one good thing about it, is that it tends to feed the Amazon rainforest with essential nutrients. So as you go through the next few days, obviously take the necessary precautions, but bearing in mind that the dust does have its uses. You can just see here on the satellite picture the very thin layer, very hazy conditions. That's the Saharan dust. It extends all the way across to Africa, which means we're not out of the woods yet for the Saharan dust as you go through the next few days. Now, bearing in mind that as the winds do come through, the intensity of the dust will fluctuate. You will notice some dense periods at times, possibly some thinning as we go through a few days as well. But overall, we should be out of this dusty haze once we get to late Friday and going into Saturday. But for those across Tobago and parts of Trinidad as well, dull, hazy skies for most of you as you go through your morning. There is a medium chance of a shower or two, but it won't be enough to wash out that thick Saharan dust as you go through your afternoon for both North Trinidad, Central, as well as Southern Trinidad as well. So for San Fernando, a few early morning showers, generally cloudy, but still quite hazy and dull as you end your day. Temperature-wise, by night, 23 degrees Celsius for Trinidad, 24 the minimum in Tobago, 30 will be their high, and 32 likely in Trinidad. The Saharan dust will still remain with us on a Thursday, and then on Friday it begins to get pushed out of the way. There's a bit of cloudiness, some moisture expected. Could be seeing a low-level trough as well as a little shear line coming through, so that will likely increase the chances of some showers through Friday and Saturday, but again, nothing significant as we go through this harsh, dry season. For those heading offshore, if you're looking to beat the heat at the beaches, there's still a slight chop out there, just 1 to 1.5 meters to the Caribbean, further afield 2 meters likely in the Atlantic, and northeasterly swells of 8 seconds. And the flags will continue to flap in those easterly winds as you go through your Wednesday. Now for bathers, notice that the high tides will be higher than normal due to the full moon. One is at 4 p.m. and then you've got your low tide at 9:45 a.m. Now, of course, the Eastern Caribbean, it remains mostly settled, dull and hazy under that Saharan dust. Up towards the north or through the Bahamas, we could be seeing an area of low pressure forming there. Likelihood of some showers that could turn heavy, pushing through into Cuba and into the Cayman Islands. So we could be seeing some rather wet weather coming out of that. But on the other side of that frontal system, it remains sunny and dry for Jamaica, partly hazy at times for Santo Domingo, and only a few clouds likely for Port-au-Prince, highs of 33 degrees Celsius. But the Saharan dust remains the main story from the Leeward Islands coming all the way down to the Windward Islands, particularly thick around the Barbados, St. Vincent and Grenada. It will begin to thin at times around Georgetown, but still quite dusty for them as they go through their Wednesday and Thursday. So that's your weather, and that's it from me.
The weather was brought to you in part by the Water and Sewerage Authority. Water, use what you need.